Hey, thanks for coming back to the channel. It's been a crazy couple of weeks. Election night, obviously, a lot of different things leading up to that. I've been just all over town. Been local, luckily. It's been just really busy here in town the last few weeks. And I've got some videos, some stuff to talk about with that and show you a little bit of what we did. All right, it's Friday downtown, just finished early voting. Got a coffee, had lunch with my dad, actually. Nice lunch meeting. And now headed over to the building museum for the gala setup tonight. So I'm out here with Metro Tech tonight again. And, hair's looking crazy. I'm working with Metro Tech tonight again, and we're doing audio and video for this show, which will happen tomorrow night. And so tonight I'm just going to be flying some JBL Vertec, some 4886s, 4883 sub on top, and then 8 4886s in a hang below that, and with some front fills, lip fills, out fills, a couple of different zones, a press feed, and a feed to a teleprompter guy. Some record lines, some video playback from Videoland. So it's going to be a whole bunch of stuff, but pretty easy. So just waiting for the trucks to arrive now, and we'll get this load in started. So what you can see we've got going on here is my front of house at, I'm down on the floor. Ended up being side stage, which was kind of a hassle, but with the iPad, and you'll see I have got a really, really large TrendNet access point on this job. So I was able to roam a little bit. I've got a 6-rack of Shure U4 handheld wireless with a 2-rack on top of that. The same thing, Shure U4s, handhelds, and then a Tascam CF card recorder. You'll see the antenna here. I've got a pair of powered antenna facing forward towards the room, and then I have a pair facing behind me. And that's because there was a reception prior to this event in the space just behind me. It was open space. There's like some columns. Those rear-facing antenna and the Shure dual rack there with just the 2 handhelds was facing the other direction, and that was for an MC, an auctioneer, to talk through a zone that was essentially behind me in a next to where the gala was. So I needed coverage, RF coverage. That direction is a very large space, and then I obviously needed RF antennas facing forward for the main program. I could have got by spinning the antennas, but we have the gear. Why not do it right? And it worked out really well this way because microphones ended up going everywhere, as they do during galas. You hand out a wireless microphone to a corporate client, keep an eye on them because they will go all over the place, and you got to be prepared for that. They don't want to hear they can't go talk to somebody in the audience because you have RF issues. You got to be just cover it all. It's no big deal. So here you can see the hangs. They're really simple. It's the JBL Array frame, 4883 sub, 8 4886s underneath that. NL8 up to them from the mezzanine level is where we actually had the snakehead video production, and I ended up putting amp racks up there because that's where power was. So it was really, really simple to send that NL8 over the edge, keep it looking really clean, and then I was able to tie back using, tie line, just put some steering lines on the arrays so I could point them after they were already flown. This was a load in at night, and then everything had to be flown because the museum's open the next day. So when we came in for the day of the job, we couldn't do any rigging. It had to be right the night before. So they're, put together, tested on the ground for audio, then we fly them, and then aim them as we tune them the following day. So that's what you see here. So election night was a really, really fun gig. I'm not going to get into politics here on this channel. I'm talking strictly from a production standpoint. It was an excellent job. I was working for TV1, doing the Roland Martin show, broadcasting live from a working open restaurant, which was just crazy. It was, from a production standpoint, just absolutely a blast. I was working in the house as an RF tech and dealing with IFBs, intercom, and wireless microphones My buddy Eric, who's in this picture here, was A2 in the house there, laving people up and helping change over. We probably had about 40 different people get up onto that set that you see there throughout the night to join in on the interviews and the talking head panels. And every one of those got wireless IFB. That's like an in-ear monitor, basically, that can be interrupted so we can talk to them. And every one of them had a microphone, and then we had wireless mics roaming. We had mics on cameras. It was a 6-camera shoot, and we were live on air for 7.5 hours on election night till about 1 in the morning. So from a production standpoint, it was an absolute blast. It was a pleasure to work with those guys. The A1 in the truck, the broadcast truck guys, the camera crew, the TV1 crew, and Jimmy, the A2, who actually mixed the house restaurant feed for the patrons. That was a hell of a job. And he did that with a Behringer X32 with an iPad because we had no room. We were in a working freaking restaurant, and he needed a console that could handle that many ins and outs, dynamics, all that stuff. Just an impressive job he did with that X32. I was pretty surprised. A lot of this gig was Lectrosonics equipment for me. There was Shure ULXD handheld wireless, and then Shure U4 body pack lavs for the host. So coordinating 3 different wireless IFB sends, lavs, handhelds, and wireless. We also had Telex BTR 800 wireless intercom. We had 8 channels of that. Coordinating all that wireless downtown in D.C. on a live shoot for like 8 hours, just the battery changes alone are a challenge. But we got through it. It was a lot of fun. It was a really, really great production. I won't go as far as saying it was a really great night, but it was a good production. And that was what I spent the first half of the week working on. Coming into the weekend, I ended up over at 6th and I for a number of different things. I was there 3 times in one weekend, and this first one was for a bar mitzvah in the morning, and those are always fun. It's easy, couple of lav mics, some handheld, some couple of lecterns on either side, and then we had a really cool choir and piano that needed a stage monitor, but very simple setup here. And you can see I'm using the Soundcraft installed console here. Everything else in this rig is processed in a rack that's in an amplifier room, and it's all black box. There's no other controls, so this is very much old school, like seat of your pants mixing. There's no real tools other than channel EQ, gain, and input fader. So it's kind of fun to go back to doing challenging shows on a rig like this, where you got a bunch of open mics and things happening at any moment, and actually, you really got to work it to get what you want out of the channel. You don't have compression in this kind of situation with lavs and headsets and all that kind of stuff. So after the bar mitzvah, I went home, had some lunch, hung out, and then came back to 6th and I for a book talk with Maynard from Tool. His new book is out, and he did a book talk. It was cool. We actually did 2 book talks that night. We had a 7 o'clock show, and I think it was a 10:30 show after that. And you can see here, it was very simple. The tour was carrying Shure U4. Again, belt packs. They were carrying 4 channels of Shure wireless U4 wireless with belt packs, and DPA 4088 headset mics. So there's 2 of those, moderator and 1 for Maynard. 2 Q&A mics hardwired in so people could get up and ask questions at the end. And then we had a Macintosh Apple MacBook Pro upstairs above me in the mezzanine, connected to a projector, basically running QLab. I think it was either QLab or Playback Pro that the tour manager was running just for a couple of video clips that had audio to me. So very simple show. We did it twice, so those 3 gigs in one day at 6th and I. And then I was back there the next day on Sunday. Sunday was a comedy show, and it was a lot of fun. Really, really simple. 5 channels of Shure ULX wireless, 4 for the performers, and 1 as a backup. Countryman E6, the headset version mics for everybody, and then a VOG mic, which I tend to use a Beta 57 for VOG. I don't know why, but I like the sound of that mic for VOG. It's very easy to get that beefy, ladies and gentlemen kind of thing happening. So I used that Beta 57 a lot, and then I had a regular 58 up on stage, which was the curtain mic, so they could VOG and intro themselves. And also they used it at the start of the show to interview. They brought some people up on stage and kind of did some banter with some folks from the audience. So other than that, it was just some playback, walk in, walk out music, and that's about it. That's something that does happen quite often, specifically in comedy. Be prepared for that if you ever do sound for comedy, to have what they call a curtain mic. So either the artists themselves, or a lot of times their tour manager or promoter, whoever's traveling with them, will VOG, basically introduce them onto the stage, kind of hype man deal, sometimes depending on the act. A lot of times they just intro themselves, and sometimes they use a different voice. Sometimes, recently, comedians have been, they'll do it and they'll make fun of themselves while they're introing themselves, and it's clear and obvious to everyone that it is them doing it, and that's always fun. But yeah, be prepared on comedy shows to put a curtain mic, and a lot of times a handheld wireless works really well for that. So that way you can be prepared with one channel of wireless should they want to go out into the audience, or talk to somebody, or whatever the heck it is. One channel of wireless is usually smart to have on hand at the curtain for comedy. Thanks for watching. That's it for today, and hope to see you next time. More videos coming real soon, and be sure to head over to Patreon if you want to support the channel. The more support that we get over there, the more I can do these videos and set up interviews and reviews and product teardowns and all that kind of stuff. So I really appreciate any support. Like, subscribe, thumbs up, a comment down below, a comment anywhere on social media is awesome. It's great to hear people's opinions and what you think about what I'm putting out and what you want me to say in the future, what you need clarification on, and what you want covered in future videos. That's super helpful. So thanks so much. Have a great day. Happy Thanksgiving. Bye.